Today we're going to be looking at finding unit rates. We have a couple of examples that we're going to work through together here, so let's get started. Question number 1 states, a woman ran 24 kilometers in 4 hours, and we're being asked to figure out how many kilometers she ran per hour. When working with unit rates, a unit rate is a ratio between different units. And as we can see up top here highlighted in yellow, we're going to write that ratio as a fraction. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to identify our different units in this problem. So our first unit is our distance covered, which in this case is 24 kilometers. So our numerator is going to be 24 to represent our 24 kilometers. And then our denominator is going to be our second unit in this problem, which is the length of time, which in this case is 4 hours, for the ratio of 24 kilometers to 4 hours. But we need to figure out how many kilometers she ran per hour. And that's where the second part of this highlighted text in yellow says to simplify until the denominator has a value of 1. And the reason that we're simplifying until the denominator has a value of 1 is because that denominator with a value of 1 is going to tell us how many kilometers she ran per hour. So in order for us to write a denominator of 1, we're going to have to divide our 4 hours by 4, and that's going to give us how many kilometers she ran in 1 hour. But we do need to keep this fraction equivalent, meaning that we need to do the same thing to our numerator up top that we did to our denominator. So we also have to divide our numerator up top by 4 in order to tell us how many kilometers she ran in 1 hour. And when we divide 24 by 4, we get 6, so that means that she ran 6 kilometers per hour. Now moving on to question number 2, where this time the problem states a man read 66 pages in 3 days, and we're being asked to calculate how many pages he read per day. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up this ratio. So our first unit is going to be the number of pages that have been read, and we have 66 pages being read, so 66 is going to be our numerator, and then our second unit is the number of days that have passed, which in this case is 3 days. So we have 3 days for our denominator. So we have 66 pages to 3 days, and we need to figure out how many pages he read per day. So we need to simplify this fraction. So we need to simplify this fraction so that our denominator has a value of 1, because that's going to tell us how many pages he read per day. So in order to write a fraction with the denominator of 1, we need to divide our denominator by 3. And when we divide 3 by 3, we get 1, so that's going to be per 1 day. And then we need to make sure that we do the same thing to our numerator up top to keep this fraction equivalent. So we're going to divide our 66 pages by 3. And when we divide 66 by 3, we get 22. So that means that he read 22 pages per day. Now moving on to question number 3, which states there are 108 donuts in 9 boxes. And we're being asked to figure out how many donuts are in each box. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up this ratio. So our first unit is going to be the total number of donuts that we have, which is 108. So our numerator is going to have a value of 108. And then our denominator is going to be the number of boxes, in which we have 9 boxes. So our denominator is going to be 9. So we have a ratio of 108 donuts to 9 boxes. And we need to figure out how many donuts are in each box. So we need to simplify this fraction so that our denominator has a value of 1. So we're going to divide our denominator of 9 by 9 in order to get the denominator of 1. And to keep this fraction equivalent, we need to make sure that we do the same thing to our numerator up top. And when we divide 108 by 9, we get 12. So that means that each box has 12 donuts. So hopefully by now you understand working with unit rates a little bit better. Help make math less complicated by smashing those like and subscribe buttons. As always, enjoy today's math journey.